it's Bryn again, the horticulturalist or the gardener with Hope Grows. So today we're going to talk about harvesting your baskets. And so I'm in Pop's garden, which is our vegetable cut flower and herb garden. And as you can see, our tomato vines are really coming, our tomato plants are really coming in. So there's going to be a lot of tomatoes to harvest in the coming months. So when you're thinking about harvesting your tomatoes, which these are probably very similar to the types of tomatoes you have. This is a cherry tomato. You either have a cherry or grape tomato. You know that it's ready to harvest when it's a really, really deep colored red like this or like this. So when something is like this, or even when it's green, you don't want to harvest that yet, because when it's red, it means it has the highest amount of sugar. So that's why sometimes when you eat tomatoes, they taste like candy, because they have a high sugar content. So when I'm harvesting the tomato, all I do, and I make sure I leave the non-ripe ones like this off, and I just pluck it off like this. And so this one will be ripe too. And you can kind of tell from this plant, but tomato plants usually, not always, but usually ripen from the bottom fruits up to the top. So these ones, they formed first when the plant was younger, and then the ones up here, they're just starting to come in. So you can see the flowers or the future fruit. So now that we've talked about the tomato vines, let's move on to the other herbs that might be in your basket. So let's start with the oregano. And oregano is in a lot of Italian food and cooking. So when I'm harvesting my oregano, it's really hard to cut too much off. But let's say I'm starting with something like this long, and if you have the golden variety, like the yellow variety, it's going to be the same process. So I come in with kitchen scissors, and then I can cut back, but I want to leave some of the plant as I'm doing that. So I'm not going to get rid and cut the whole plant, but this plant has a lot of leaves on it. So I just really cut back, and you don't have to be particular about how you're cutting it back. So maybe I come above a set of leaves, and then I cut. And then you have some oregano. And then with the basil, we've talked about how to cut back basil in previous videos, but we'll go over it again. So the space in between leaves, so this stem here, there's a leaf, a stem, and a leaf. This is called the internode, which is a big word, but I think you guys can handle that. So when I'm thinking about cutting back my basil, when I cut it from the top, it sends shoots out to the side, so it gets bushier and bushier. So when I'm cutting this back, I leave a few sets of leaves. So I'll say I'm gonna come here, and then I cut above a set of leaves, so that I'm leaving leaves to come back. So I could cut that. I'm gonna leave this one. And this one I can cut back a little. But you cut back so much that it starts to send shoots off to the side. And then the next thing that I would cut would be the parsley. So this parsley, I would probably let grow in a little bit more before I cut it. But if you are gonna cut, you wanna leave like enough of the plant, because you can see that the leaves are coming from the center. So I usually like to harvest from the outside of the parsley plant rather than the inside where the new shoots and leaves come up. So when I'm cutting parsley, I come to the base of my plant and I snip it. So it looks like this. There's one more thing I wanted to show you. So you might notice that when you are working with your parsley, that you find this little creature. And this is a swallowtail caterpillar. And they aren't harmful, although they will eat your parsley. So if you decide you want to get rid of him, don't squish him, just take him off. But I will tell you that he or she or they, I don't know the gender of caterpillars. All I know is that they turn into these types of butterflies. So there's lots of different types of swallowtails, so they might have different patterns and colors. That's actually a swallowtail over there. But yeah, we have a lot of butterflies in the garden right now. So if you want to stop by at the end of the month, it's the last Sunday of August. I'm not sure of the date, from 6:30 to 8. We have a garden walk that's free and open to the public. So thanks for joining us, and let us know if you have any questions.
Hi, everybody. I hope you enjoyed learning a little bit about how to harvest what it is that you're growing. And now I'm going to talk to you a little bit more than we did last week about what Who Hope Grows is. So again, I love using visuals. So give me a minute and I'm going to share my screen again so that you can follow along. There we go. Okay. All right. So, yes, so we're going to talk today about who Hope Grows is. And again, the program that you're involved with is called Grow Together with Take a Break. You just learned about harvesting, and I hope your baskets are growing well. I have not seen any new pictures come in, so remember to keep taking those pictures and send them to us. And soon you're going to be able to start pulling away all the the herbs that you're growing and hopefully some of those ripe tomatoes too. All right, so who does Hope Grows help? Well, if you thought of or said out loud family caregivers, good for you. You've been paying attention or you knew that before the Grow Together program even started. But why do I have this G up here? Well, the G, that stands for Google. So if you were to go on the internet, now do that with parents' permission. And if you were to type in the search field family caregivers, you would get a wide variety of what they call hits or returns on that keyword that you put in there called family caregivers. Well, if you do that, you would see tons and tons of different sites that you could go into and learn about. A lot of those sites are companies that help caregivers with all kind of things like medical equipment or hospitals or doctor's offices or even caregivers that you can hire, professional caregivers that you can hire to come in and help you with some of the things that you're doing for your, if you are a family caregiver, doing some of those things for the care receiver or your loved one that you're caring for. And in some cases, you will get some statistics, it's called, or data or information that tells us how many caregivers there are in Pennsylvania or the United States or even in the whole world. And it'll give you all kind of like how many people, how many males, how many females, it'll just give you all of those different statistics. And sometimes in that search field, you will see sometimes Hope Grows, who we are. Sometimes that pops up too in the field. So yeah, so I'm glad you know who we help. We help family caregivers. So we're going to talk a little bit more about that right now. So who are these family caregivers taking care of? Well, they are taking care of older adults, maybe your grandma or grandpa. They are taking care of children with special needs. I know in your schools, there is a program in your schools for children who have special needs. So they require, a little bit more attention with the education they're receiving, et cetera, et cetera. And then people with chronic illness. So what does chronic illness mean? Well, when you get a cold and you get a stuffy, runny nose or a fever, that means that it's eventually going to go away. It might take, a couple of days, it might take a week or so, but eventually you get better. Well, a chronic illness is something where people do not get better. So if you've ever heard of the words Alzheimer's or dementia, these are some of the older adult chronic illnesses that people do get. But there's such a wide variety of different chronic illnesses, but just know that when you hear the word chronic illness, it means that that person is not going to get better. So that family caregiver, or if it's your mom or dad or even your grandma taking care of someone, just know that they're helping because that person's not going to get better. Okay. So why are we helping those people that help others? So why are we helping family caregivers? Well, for one, this is some of the information that you might get if you were to search on the internet about family caregivers. There's about 60 million people just in the United States that have been taking care of an adult or a child in the last 12 months. That's a lot of people, huh? And then 3 in 10 homes report at least one person has been a caregiver. So think about your house on your street. You may live in a neighborhood where there's 20 or 30 houses. Well, think about where your house is and then count on both sides or across from you 10 homes. So they're saying that out of those 10 homes, 3 of them have either, been a caregiver or at some point or are a caregiver. So it's kind of interesting if you think about it and put it into that perspective of how many people are out there that are family caregivers helping someone else that needs that help. Okay. So what do these family caregivers do? Well, they help with things that come easy to us. So like us getting out of bed in the morning is easy, getting dressed, cooking meals, helping to use the bathroom, helping to feed them, helping them get in and out of a wheelchair because they can't walk. So these are some of the ways, these are some of the things that our family caregivers do. But then you might be wondering now, why do they need our help? They're helping others. Why do they need our help? Well, because what they do every day for someone else is extremely tiring. And then they usually tend to forget to stop taking care of themselves. So that's where we come in. We help family caregivers and remind them to take care of themselves. All right, so now you might be wondering, how do we do that? Well, these are some of the ways in which we do help. We make phone calls to family caregivers. If they opt in to receive a phone call from us, we call to check in on them every month to see how they're doing or to see what kind of help they might need. Then we provide reminders for them to take time for themselves so that they don't get so stressed and so tired that they can't even move through their day. So the other thing we also do is we take turkey meals to them at Thanksgiving if they want them. The next, you'll see that teacup. So we provide ways for caregivers to take just short breaks through the day or through the night. And then you see the little hand with the flower. Well, we connect caregivers to nature and all things growing. And why do we do that? Well, because we believe that connecting to nature is very healing. It can help in many, many ways. And then the bottom one, you'll see a brain that says mental health. Well, we give them time to talk about what is bothering them and give them, just ways in which to take better care of themselves other than some of the other things that we're doing. All right, so hopefully that made a little bit of sense. Now, the next webinar, which is going to be your last one, will include how the Grow Together with Take a Break can help with this teacup symbol, providing ways for caregivers to take short breaks. So we'll talk more about that next week, about how this program that you're involved with is helping in that way, okay? So our webinar today was about harvesting and about who Hope Grows is. And this is a reminder to let you know that as you harvest your things, you can drop off your items, all your food items that you're harvesting at Hope Grows. Okay, so we'll have a basket sitting, so we'll have a basket at 183 Shaver Road in Moon Township. Look for the welcome sign. It will be by the gravel service road when you approach the facility. So there'll be a basket there. You can put your items in there. And if you have any questions, I'm sure you and your parents know now who to contact, and we can answer any questions that you might have about that. But yes, we're going to start putting a basket out there, and as you harvest your items, you could drop them off in that basket. All right. So we talked about this last week. How can you keep helping? Well, keep taking care of that grow basket, keep it watered. I know with school starting, it's going to get a little busy. You might forget about it. I hope not. Just try to keep watering it and taking care of it. We're almost nearing down to, we almost got a little over a month left in the program. And I'm hoping that you're finding taking care of the basket, something that you're enjoying. So our next webinar, oops, that's wrong. That was a slide from last week. Ignore that. Today is that next webinar, and it's about harvesting, okay? The other way you can keep helping is keep taking those pictures and send them to lisa@hopegrows.net. Another way is submitting a t-shirt design. Our deadline is today to get that in because we want to make sure that we're able to get those shirts designed in time to give them to you at the end of this program. at the end of September. So keep watching the webinars and completing the surveys. Don't forget you earn reward points each time that you do this, and then that's being entered into a raffle that will raffle off to some lucky caregiver, or not caregiver, some lucky student that's been in the program. At the end, you'll also get your pizza kit and a t-shirt for completion. And then we want you to definitely come to the end of season garden walk. So there's a little bit of change with that end of season garden walk. So do us a favor and tell mom and dad that there's going to be a survey link sent to their email, because we want their feedback. We want them to give us a few days and times that might be best for that garden walk. We have been told that maybe that Sunday night might not be the best time, it being a school night, and so we want to get some feedback for the best time. So look for that. Tell mom and dad they're going to be getting a survey to fill out some information. And then our beekeeper that we have, I don't know if you're aware, but we have honeybee hives here at Hope Grows. Our beekeeper is interested in teaching you about beekeeping and pollination. And if that's something that you're interested in, we're going to have mom and dad tell us a good day and time that would work for that. And then we're going to ask them a question about continuing participation with the Grow Together program after this season is gone and done. Okay? Don't forget, tell mom and dad that there's going to be a survey for them to fill out. And then one last thing, we mentioned this last week in our webinar, we need a creative name for our you volunteers, the student volunteers that are in this program. Okay, we talked about that last week, so make sure that you've watched that webinar. And this is just a reminder, and we would like help with a volunteer team name, and let us know. I'll put that on the survey again for this week as well, so that you'll have that opportunity to still continue to give us a name of what you would like your volunteer team to be called, okay? And then again, if you have any questions, email us, suggestions or comments. We're always glad to hear from you, and you can send them to lisa@hopegrows.net. All right, I hope you're having a good day today, and I hope that you are continuing to take care of your basket and you're still very interested in what it is that we're doing. So yes, keep growing, and we'll see you again. Take care. Bye-bye.